Hi there. So glad you could join us for this Thursday for another insightful edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkins, and coming up in today's show, we take you back to the sights and sounds of what is said to be the oldest, largest, and most dynamic agricultural show in the English-speaking Caribbean. Plus, a look at how to get started in this sweet business. And you don't want to miss what's new as we keep you in the know here on Jamaica Magazine.
If you are experiencing symptoms of the monkeypox virus, including fever, intense headache, swelling of the lymph nodes, back pain, muscle ache, lack of energy, and/or a rash on the skin, you must self-isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. The virus may enter the body through broken skin, even if not visible, the respiratory tract, or mucous membranes, eyes, nose, or mouth, and has an incubation period of between 5 and 21 days. The spread of monkeypox may occur when a person comes into close contact with an infected animal, direct contact with monkeypox skin lesions or scabs of an infected person, contact with clothing or linen such as bedding or towels used by an infected person, and the coughing or sneezing of an individual with a monkeypox rash. Wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing as part of the infection prevention and control efforts. For additional information on monkeypox, visit the Ministry of Health and Wellness website at moh.gov.jm or contact the local public health department.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, September 29. It will cost the government approximately $360 million to clear roads that were flooded and blocked by heavy rains which lashed the country earlier this week. In an update to Parliament Wednesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the National Works Agency, NWA, which is assessing the damage, will reallocate funds from its budget to make repairs.
The cost of permanent repairs are being assessed, and over the next 2 weeks, I will update Parliament as to what those would be. Certainly for the repair of retaining walls that have been destroyed, those costs might be a little bit more, but again, we're not expecting to see a $1 billion bill for repairs.
Mr. Holness said a rapid assessment is being undertaken by the NWA to determine the full impact of the rainfall to decide on additional measures. According to the report, parishes hardest hit were St. Catherine, Clarendon, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Trelawney and Portland. At least 47 roads were badly affected by landslides, downed trees and mud flow. The NWA reports that all roads except for some corridors in Clarendon have been cleared. A breakaway at Sutton in Lower Chapelton, Clarendon, will have to be rebuilt for the roadway to reopen. Government has signed a new social partnership agreement with the opposition, trade unions, and various members of civil society. Aimed at strengthening the nation's social recovery, the partnership is the third such pact that has been signed by the government, the opposition, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, the Jamaica Council of Churches, and the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. At yesterday's signing ceremony, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the 4-year collaboration arose out of concerns regarding the social and economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic.
In a democracy, it is important that all the functionaries of the state play their important role in achieving prosperity.
The opposition is committed to playing our role in fashioning national solutions. We must do so with a critical eye. Ultimately, that's our responsibility.
In other news, the National Water Commission, NWC, is expected to save $1 billion annually on its electricity bill. That's thanks to the installation of a 50-kilowatt floating solar system at the Mona Reservoir. The photovoltaic plant was commissioned on Wednesday by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Since its implementation, the NWC has seen a 28% reduction in its energy consumption for June and a 30% decline in July when compared to the month of May. Prime Minister Holness says rising oil and energy prices have hindered the NWC's profitability. With the new solar system in place and others to come on stream shortly, the Prime Minister is optimistic that the entity will become viable.
This administration has taken a decision in keeping with our good fiscal management of your affairs that we cannot allow the NWC to become a fiscal risk to the government.
A project of this nature, ladies and gentlemen, reinforces the government's commitment to providing leadership in energy and climate change mitigation, which augurs well for our future.
This project ticks many boxes. It is both mitigation and adaptation. This project will reduce evaporation. It will also increase capacity as the system is installed with some amount of desilting.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has charged the NWC with creating a replenishing capital fund to replace water trucks that have depreciated. He was speaking at Tuesday's handover of 8 water trucks to the NWC, valued at $105 million. According to the Prime Minister, the agency needs 3 times the number of trucks being delivered to be able to respond effectively as a utility service provider and in cases of emergency.
So we expect that going forward, the policy will be that the NWC must maintain the capacity to deliver water if there is a break in regular service.
Mr. Holness said similar provisions are being made at the local government level through the parish councils. Almost 22,000 pieces of furniture will be delivered to schools in the next 2 months. Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams, gave the commitment during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing. The furniture includes 15,500 desk and chair combo units for students, 1,600 pieces for teachers, as well as 1,200 trapezoidal tables and 3,600 chairs. Minister Williams says the fixtures form part of the continuous upgrading of educational institutions across the island. Local artisans and high school students will be building the required pieces.
This awesome task requires a multifaceted approach and partnerships involving many stakeholders. We have adopted this partnership approach with some of our schools, and it has been working well.
9 schools in 6 parishes have been selected to participate in the program, including Port Antonio High, St. Andrew Technical, and Holland High School. And finally, public and private organizations are being urged to increase cybersecurity strategies to safeguard their operations against the new and emerging threats. Head of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, JASERT, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, made the appeal during a JIS think tank session on Wednesday. Ahead of October's observation of National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Lieutenant Colonel Sterling said particular attention must be placed on securing data against malicious attacks. JASERT has recorded more than 700 reports of cybercrimes since the start of the year.
The real challenge right now is for a lot of the medium, small, and micro enterprises to conduct what we call a security baseline of their organization. And from that baselining, to do the further assessments that will allow them to have the requisite professionals develop a roadmap to bring them to some reasonable standard of cybersecurity.
Entities wishing to employ a more robust cybersecurity approach may visit cert.gov.jm and sign up for a free cybersecurity assessment. JASERT also welcomes emails or walk-ins to its offices at the PCJ building on Trafalgar Road in Kingston. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
After a 2-year hiatus, the anticipation was high for the return of this festival, even more so now as the government is ramping up Jamaica's food security.
The 2022 Denbigh Agricultural Exhibition attracted a large crowd of attendees from all walks of life who came to participate, watch, and enjoy the festivities.
Denbigh 2022.
Farmers and fishers, the effort we're making here at the Grow Smart, Eat Smart Denbigh is for you, is about you. and it's to make sure that you know that you are valued by the government of Jamaica and by the people of Jamaica.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and the Jamaica Agriculture Society JAS collaborated to encourage farmers, fishers, and youngsters to participate in the agro event to showcase Jamaica's best in the industry. Among the many highlights, the 2022 return of Denbigh witnessed the official launch of the ministry's Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Grow Smart, Eat Smart logo. Put your hands together.
The event's success was enthusiastically praised by Janet Pollen, Projects Marketing and Training Manager for the JAS.
Jamaica is reggae, Denbigh is agriculture, and so it impacts the lives of every farmer and an entire agriculture sector. One of the things that is very prominent here is that technology. Technology is the way forward, and a lot of our farmers and patrons who have come here have seen the significant work and the impact of technology and the agriculture sector. The other area is that a lot of young people are now gravitated to the agriculture sector. And one of the things that we have to recognize is that agriculture is not about just planting and just actual farming, but there's a wide gamut within the agriculture sector.
This event is also part of a national push to improve food security by reducing our reliance on foreign producers. The youth have answered that call by developing a Grow Smart system to help increase the country's output.
What I have here is one section showing a nursery room for a small plant, and the next section showing an hydroponic system for larger plant.
We are promoting sustainable agricultural technologies, and so we actually have incorporated the use of an aeroponic system with a solar panel, and we have actually automated. So what we are actually doing is monitoring for our fish tank the pH, the water level, the temperature, the dissolved solid, and whatever parameters that are out, we are able to automatically adjust. We also have a pump that is pumping to our aeroponics on a timer base.
We are actually in the Youth in Agriculture Village, and we are showcasing most of the products and the activities that we engage to promote the government's Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign.
We're actually displaying two skill areas. The first skill area is mechatronics, and the second skill area is mobile robotics. So mechatronics, the basics of it is that it deals with systems integration and process automation, while robotics deals with automation.
We are showcasing the three-dimension or cross-section of what would be going on inside of your beehive at home while you can't see. But here, you get the experience of seeing what is going on inside there.
Let us congratulate. There are also competitions among the parishes. Patrons then sat in anticipation, waiting to hear the winner of the parish pavilions.
46 points. Let us congratulate the Clarendonians.
The Livestock contest showcased the best in animal rearing. Prime Minister Andrew Holness presented 18-year-old Highgate student Angelique Chen with her trophy and a $500,000 check for winning the Youth in Agriculture competition. The newly crowned Farm Queen also made an appearance at the event.
I feel elated, I feel blessed, and I will definitely work extremely hard to uphold this title that was given to me. I want to stimulate interest for youth in agriculture. I also want to, rebrand agriculture to show it in a more positive light, and also to increase agricultural education throughout the entire Jamaica.
What can be said is that this year's Denbigh was nothing short of impressive, showcasing vegetables, small businesses, livestock, plant life, and people. Great things are the only thing we can anticipate for the future.
There were some aspects of Denbigh that we weren't able to do. So for example, you notice with the livestock, we never saw the massive cows that we are used to because we didn't have enough time to prepare them. But this Denbigh can stand on its own. It has been tremendous, the sort of success that we have seen. We intend to even do better. So come next year, Denbigh will be bigger and better.
We now take you to another side of the industry, the buzz that's pulling entrepreneurs into the agricultural sector.
Apiculture is a art and it's a science. So, and it's an art and science of managing bees. So everything that we do in the hive, everything that is happening in the hive is very scientific. And as beekeepers, we craft the way how we manage the bees. So every beekeeper that you speak to, they will have a different approach to different aspects of beekeeping.
Given that the importation of honey into Jamaica is restricted, you can only imagine what big business beekeeping is for our farmers. They have expanded from just providing honey for citizens and have moved on to creating many different byproducts. But have you ever wondered how you can get involved and have your share of the sweetness?
For you to be a beekeeper, you have to develop certain comfort in dealing with this thing, which is not a maybe when you're a beekeeper in Jamaica. It is a must. So every time you get a sting, it becomes irritating to you. But then because we love what we're doing, we don't pay much attention to the irritating part. We're more focused on what we're doing, and we know that at the end of the day we're going to get honey. And when we get honey, we can convert that to money. So for us in St. Thomas, from time to time we have projects, and quite a few of the persons in St. Thomas who are beekeepers, they start out benefiting from projects that would have beekeeping components. So training is critical because then you have to know how to navigate your way through an environment that is challenging to allow you to harvest honey and to make a livelihood from beekeeping. I would advise anybody who would like to make their own box to purchase a box to start with, or you borrow a properly made box, because the bees are very scientific. They're very specific in terms of the design of the space that they occupy. And if you make a mistake and where you're supposed to have 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, you put 1/2 inch, or you put less than 1/4 inch, then you're going to have problem as a beekeeper. So a beekeeper has to be knowledgeable about what is normal in the hive. So I tell people that when you come into the apiary, there's a normal sound. And if you listen, you hear a hum. When I hear that as a beekeeper, I know that they're finding food out there. They're finding nectar, they're finding pollen, and so on, when I hear this hum. When you go into the hive, there are many things in there that you have to observe. Right? You have to observe the condition of the comb, whether the combs are, I always said, old and crystallized, because once they get old and crystallized, you want to get rid of those combs. You want to look at the color of the brood. When we say the brood, we're talking about from the larval stage now to when they get to the pupal stage. You want to observe that, because there's a normal way that they should look, and there's an abnormal way when something is going wrong that they would look differently. You want to observe the queen and the condition of the queen as expressed in the amount of eggs that are laid, as expressed by the amount of seal brood that you see, right? In the bee yard, you want to be observant of everything. I usually tell trainees that when you come into the bee yard or into the apiary, you have to look around at the trees and the shrubs around, because there might be a swarm that is lingering. That swarm might have taken place in your absence. Might even be the very morning before you come to the apiary. You have to observe and see if any of that is there. Because if you let that swarm escape, then you're looking at some dollars and some of your profitability that is going down the drain. You want to be able to have a bee yard that is not necessarily sterile, but clean enough that if you have dead bees around, you can see them on the ground. If you have bees that have been affected by the varroa mite and they are suffering from viral attack, there's a virus that they call the wing curl virus. Those bees, when they reach the age and the stage to fly, they cannot fly because the wings are deformed. And so those bees, you will see them crawling on the ground, and they will crawl around on the ground until ants get them or until they die.
That's just the bare bones of what you need to learn about beekeeping. Do more research to increase your knowledge. But as you do, ask yourself this: am I registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA?
It is of great importance for a farmer to become registered or get registered with RADA, because indirectly they assist us in making national plans. For example, when we are doing our national plan, knowing the demographics of the farmer, where they are, the type of production that they do, it allows us to pinpoint as to what projects or programs can be implemented. And also, if we should have disaster, diseases, we know where the concentration of farmers are located. Or once you come to the RADA office, you can either speak with myself, the livestock officer, or the extension officer, and we'll provide you basic information on what is needed, how you go about it. We also give you the other linkages, such as the apiculture unit at Borders, that you can contact for other information. We also do assessment. We assist you in doing site assessment of your apiaries, and also kind of hold your hand in terms of getting started. And if we have projects or programs and we can have you on that project or program, we also put you there. The advice that I give to beekeepers is to do your production in a manner that has a business-like approach. From my observation, many beekeepers think that having the bees they're just there. They don't really take the time out to assess their apiaries. Mr. McNish mentioned about sanitation. They don't really look at that. So I say just manage your apiary, monitor your hives, keep your proper record so that you can have a good production.
The tinting of your windscreen, cut it out. Public passenger vehicles, according to the Transport Authority Act, not supposed to have tints. I'm appealing to motorists out there. We have removed many plates because of fandangles that are on the motor vehicle. Colorful lights, red light, purple light, blue light, and these multicolored lights. Get them off. I've noticed some trends out there where there is different type of license plates on motor vehicles. Only the Jamaican issued driver's license plates are to be on the motor vehicles. Once you transport any passenger in a motor vehicle, ensure that they are buckled, whether they are on the front or they are on the back. The seatbelt gives people a fighting chance to survive the crash. Many people have died who never give themselves a fighting chance.
Mr. President, several countries in Latin America and the Caribbean are facing an epidemic of crime and violence. Since the pandemic and the disruption in education, challenges with mental health are being increasingly expressed in violent ways. The propensity to resolve conflict or cope with social and mental stresses through violence requires a public health response. And Jamaica has not only engaged in global initiatives such as the Partnership to End Violence Against Children, but we have recently empaneled a National Commission on the Prevention of Violence to advise the government on building out an articulated public health and social service response. However, the situation is exponentially complicated and exacerbated by the influx of illegal and unregistered small arms into our country. From organized transnational criminal enterprises to street-level gangs to the misguided youth in the inner city, the availability of guns is driving an ever-increasing homicide rate. In the same way that a war on drugs is being prosecuted, in which we have been faithful partners in policing what comes through our waters or leaves our shores, there now must be a war on guns. Jamaica does not manufacture guns, but our population suffers from the effects of widely available guns. The countries that manufacture weapons that are available to the public must implement stronger measures to ensure that those weapons do not end up on the streets and in the hands of people for whom they were not intended. In the same way that there is a concern about illegal drugs on the streets of the rich countries, there must be concern about guns on the streets of developing countries like Jamaica.
What did you learn today? Tell us. Send us an email, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. We would love to hear from you. You can find more content on our website at jis.gov.jm. We're sure to bring you another informative edition tomorrow, so stay tuned. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.